Welcome. If you're new to my channel, help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers and click subscribe. It costs you nothing, it helps me out heaps. So in this video, I've taken an excerpt from another video that I planned on doing a reaction video to, and decided that I would specifically do a video talking about peanut butter and jelly in Australia. Because there were a few things that came up around this particular conversation here that I thought were worth clarifying and would be probably of interest to both Americans and Australians alike. So let's jump into it. Is peanut butter and jelly a thing in Australia? Is it totally unheard of? Or is it something that some of us do actually like?
The first difference between America and Australia is peanut butter and jelly sandwiches aren't really a thing over here. My whole life, I always thought peanut butter and jelly sandwiches were kind of a pretty universal. It's like the stereotypical school kid lunch in America, but
so we know this isn't a thing in the UK either, and it really is shocking to us that this isn't an international.
It should be.
It really should. But for me, only fried with peanut butter and jelly and bananas.
Okay, wow. Do you mean fried, as in is that some sort of brand of jelly? Or do you mean you actually fry your sandwiches in America? Because, wow, that sounds different. I've never thought of the idea of a fried peanut butter and jelly sandwich with banana. I can see how banana would work. It could be quite tasty and something I might have to try at some point in time. But you put it all together and you fry it? Wow.
I don't like the fried.
Oh, so much better.
But it turns out that's actually a really American dish. Here they don't even have jelly, they have jam, which really is the same thing as jelly, but it's just a little bit more thicker, a little bit more chunkier.
Yeah, no. If you call it jelly, we still call it jam. Consistency is irrelevant. This guy's probably had some of the really yummy jams that are chunky. Of course, homemade jams are the best when they still have chunks of fruit in them. I'm guessing that what he's referring to is what we would probably call a conserve. They're the thinner jams that have all the fruit. Basically, all the chunky bits have been strained out and they're just like a jelly. Although we would still call that jam. So in Australia, however it's made, it's jam. We call it jam, not jelly. Doesn't mean that we don't have the same kind of jam as what you would call jelly. It's just that for us, jelly is the stuff that you make in a bowl with powder and have for dessert. Jam, on the other hand, is the stuff that you spread on your sandwiches.
However, the type of jelly used for peanut butter and jelly sandwiches is usually grape jelly. That's
grape
the most
jelly's
popular
the best.
one
Get
for
some.
sure. And for some reason here in Australia, they literally have every single type of jam you could possibly imagine besides.
In the UK too, grape jelly's not really a thing. So we've had a few friends in the UK have went out and got some grape jam or grape jelly. They've loved it.
Try the grape.
Try to get some. It's the best.
It's grape jam. I can't find grape jam anywhere.
That would
But plum
suck.
jam has been the most similar jam to grape jelly, I'd say, in the States.
Confession time? I've never had grape jelly. And I actually didn't know that grape jelly was what is the preferred type of jelly with peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Although, when I look at the picture at the end and I see the jam that is plum coloured, then to me as an Australian, when you say grape jelly, I think of it being green. Because the most popular grapes here in Australia are green. You don't see so much of the purple grapes. And you tend not to eat so much of the purple grapes. But I'm wondering if perhaps the reason that we don't see so much grape jam in Australia, because I'm not sure if I've even seen it on the shelves, but I'm wondering if part of the reason of that is that we have such a huge wine industry here and we love our fresh fruit. So if you're going to go to the supermarket, then any time of the year you can get delicious fresh grapes that are nice and sweet and juicy. And of course, the range of wine here in Australia is phenomenal. There's wineries from one end of Australia to the other, and entire wine regions. So is that why we don't make grape jam? Our grapes are put to, could I say, better use? I don't know, because I've never tried grape jam. But in terms of Australian jams, I find it fascinating. Now, he mentions that plum jam is probably the closest thing in terms of having it with peanut butter. And the funny thing there is, in Australia, plum jam is almost the poor man's jam. That's the jam that your grandmother used to make, and that you didn't really buy in stores because you would get it from your grandmother. And so actually going out and buying plum jam was like, why would you? So it's not one of the more popular jams. In Australia, the more popular jams are strawberry and raspberry. And for me, I always imagined in my head, based on my experience as an Australian, because we mostly eat strawberry or raspberry jam, my idea was that if you were going to have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or we'd call it a peanut butter and jam sandwich, that you'd have it with strawberry or raspberry. And now I find out that we've been doing it all wrong. Now, I will comment, one thing that I quite enjoy, and I don't know if this is something that is a popular thing throughout Australia, or whether this is just my odd tastes, but I actually love a peanut butter and Vegemite sandwich. You still have to be careful with the amount of Vegemite you use, obviously, but that makes a really yummy sandwich, in my opinion, and something that I used to actually take to school when I was a kid. So, going back to what he was saying about school lunches being your peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, in Australia, quite often school lunches are cheese and Vegemite sandwiches, or just Vegemite sandwiches.
But we really just want to understand why peanut butter and jelly isn't a thing. I'm seriously still bothered by that, because grape jelly is freaking amazing.
Yeah, the
you
grape
guys.
jelly thing not being common in other places just baffles me, because it is so popular here.
I mean, every American household in the pantry, you're going to find Welch's grape jelly.
Yeah. Everyone's going to have the grape.
See if you can find Goober grape. See if you can find it. In the UK, we've had some friends be able to find it in some stores, and it's a mixture of, you can get strawberry, but don't do that. Mm-hmm. Get the grape jelly with the peanut butter. I will eat that stuff with just a spoon.
She will.
I could eat a whole jar of that in a day, which is kind of gross, but it's also really, really good.
Now, I just might have to go out and see if I can find some of this goober spread stuff. It looks interesting, and I probably do need to try what they're talking about. I have a question, though. The other thing that I particularly like is peanut butter and honey in sandwiches. Now, once again, I don't know if that's just an odd thing that comes from my family, or if that is something that other people in Australia do. And I'd like to know if that's something that people do in America. So, thanks for listening. I found it really interesting listening to people talking about their peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Clearly, this is something that Americans really love, and It sounds like we're heathens here in Australia. Like I said, I had no idea that peanut butter and jelly didn't mean peanut butter and strawberry jam. Oops. Anyway, if you've liked this video, please hit the like button, leave a comment below, and please subscribe. Help me get up to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you for listening.